Okay, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Senator Bergera, Senator Orjaka, Senator Forney, Senator Gasso, Senator Smith Marcel, Senator Beville, Bevel. It has been a day. Senator Szilard, Senator Morris, Senator Williams, Senator Joyce, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Sepulveda, Senator Otiocha, Senator Armstrong, Senator Dumas, Senator Lubale, Senator Guerra, Senator Parchman,
Here.
Senator Arantes, out of here, Senator Khalid, Senator Lopez, Senator Coburn, Senator Houston, Senator Goldthorpe, Senator Yezik, Senator Muita, Senator Meyer, Senator Taylor, Senator Bolch, Senator Ramirez, Senator Whitsitt, Senator Sita.
Okay, moving on to open forum. Is anyone here for open forum? Seeing none, we do have someone for speaker's podium. Maddie Bailey.
Hi, guys. Victoria, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Um, so my name is Maddie Bailey. I work in the Office of Student Engagement and I oversee the Patriot Pantry. So as you know, this is an important campus resource. It actually was started by student government several years ago, so thank you for that. We continue to grow in our usage. So last year, our usage was up by 30%. I would say this year it's probably around the same. And so to date this year, we have given out 3,400 items. It was like an exact round number when I looked earlier, which was weird, but 3,400 items. We've also served over 400 students. And so we continue to see about 40 to 50 students a week. And then we give out around 300 to 400 items a week. So it's a really important campus resource for students. Just for a quick background, it is completely donor funded. So no student fees go towards the pantry items. It is completely donor funded, so financial donations, but we really prefer food donations the most because they're easy to just get in. With financial donations, I have to go shop for the food, so it's a little bit more time intensive. Um, this year, or sorry, last year, with the previous president, we started Pack the Pantry, which was an initiative for essentially a competition between student organizations and a couple of student workers, like the PEP coaches, P2, things like that, to see who could raise the most items for the pantry. So we raised last year uh, 1,316 items in Pack the Pantry, which was amazing for our first year. It was the biggest drive that we did all year, so it really sustained the pantry for a long time. So all of that to say, we are doing it again this year. I have kicked it off, unfortunately, like 2 or 3 days late, but for the month of November up until Thanksgiving break, we will have Pack the Pantry. And so I encourage all groups, including SGA. You guys donated items last year. An email went out today through Patriots Engage. I'm also going to put it on the website. I'm waiting for it to be approved, but it will be on our Patriot Pantry website. So essentially, it's as easy as it sounds. You help raise items, you drop them off at the pantry, you tell them who you're with. So my name is Victoria. I'm dropping this off for student government. And then our pantry worker, Cade, will be taking a tally. So I do want to emphasize that this is also on the guidelines online as well, but we are not taking financial donations. So this is not a fundraiser by any means. And also, we really want to discourage groups from going out and purchasing things. That's not really the mission. The mission is, clean out your pantry, have your members clean out their pantry, bring some items, reach out to your friends and family, your communities, your churches, whatever groups you're a part of. We're not asking students to go out and, spend money on these items. So grab some items, clean out your pantries. Also, if you have an event coming up, I know you guys are a part of different student orgs as well. It's a really easy way, just like make the entry to the event to bring an item, and any items help. So there is a full list of rules on like what we can and can't accept. No expired items, no raw meat, things like that. So that is all on the website. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Patriot Pantry at uttyler.edu. SGA raised several items last year and like I said, helped start it. So we want to see if we can beat our number of 1,316, see if we can raise even more items this year. So thank you for hearing me out, and I hope you guys participate.
Thank you, Maddie. Does anyone have any questions?
Chief of Staff Burns. Hi, Maddie. My question for you is that how can student government help people get the word out about the Patriot Pantry and Pack the Pantry? I feel like as a student that Patriot Pantry is such a useful resource on campus for so many people, yet I feel like I don't hear about it enough. So, especially when Victoria and I went down to UT Sac in Austin, we had a pretty big discussion about food availability on campus and food scarcity and how it's such a huge issue. But I feel like people just don't talk about Patriot Pantry enough. And what can we do from y'all's perspective to get the word out there even more?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, Josh has always said that we have one of the best locations for a pantry, which is true. Some schools just have like closets. Ours is actually the very old Starbucks, so it's a great space. It's a huge space for a pantry. I think that part of it are events like this because it maybe gets students in the pantry that wouldn't normally, or that maybe don't necessarily need it as a resource per se, but will drop off items and kind of engage with it. I think some of it is kind of overcoming stigma. So we like to emphasize that it's open to everyone. So if you just want to come by and grab a Pop-Tart to go with your Starbucks drink, that's fine. Like there are no qualifications to use it. So to answer your question, I think it's a challenge and there's many kind of different factors, but really I think it's events like this, just raising awareness, like, if you do have an event or even, if a Greek organization has a formal like saying to get in, bring a box of mac and cheese or something like that. Because for students who may not even know it exists, when they hear that, they're like, oh wait, we have a Patriot Pantry. And then they look it up and get more information. So I think mouth to mouth, I mean, word to word is great. And then, social media and things like that, helping share the word and share the hours and the information about the pantry is helpful.
Vice President Page. This is kind of toward the Senate as well. If y'all would kind of be interested in this, what if we were to organize a kind of like a drop location at our office, and should they come and drop things off, we'll handle making sure that they get over to the pantry and everything, but they can leave our email with us. We reach certain milestones. Maybe we give like one student access to midnight breakfast early, based off of kind of whoever dropped off, whether that's whoever dropped off the most, or even just a random draw after we reached 100 cans, 200 cans, 300 cans, anything like that, to really kind of just put the word out there, and we can get some of the other orgs to possibly participate as well.
Yes, Tyler, I'm so glad you said that. I missed that very important piece of the competition. There is a winner. And I talked to Victoria today to make sure that it was okay with you guys, because I know we did it last year, but essentially they'll get to choose between three options. So one of them is midnight breakfast, cut the line passes, like wristbands. One of them is like my office providing pizza or a sweet treat, at a event for that group. And then also like custom design t-shirts by that group. So they can choose one of the three. I think having an SGA like drop location, since you guys are right there, could be great, Tyler. Um, but I also think part of it is getting them to go to the pantry and like see that it's available, kind of check out, and they may have never been in there and like kind of see what it looks like. But I'm open to feedback on that, Tyler, if you think that there's other ways.
No, I definitely agree with you. I think it's really important to get them to actually go to the pantry. So thank you for that. I didn't know y'all were doing the prizes, so that's really cool.
Yes. And last year they did use it. So the pep coaches won, and they did use the cut the line passes and they enjoyed it. We got them a little wristband and they jumped ahead of the line. So they still had to wait in line, but they got to, get to the front. So I think it's a great opportunity. And then sorry, while I'm talking about the pantry, another thing that we do is at the end of the year. So there's usually a lot of drives in November, December because of the holidays, which is great. But we start to kind of lose steam through February, March. And actually before the week before spring break is our highest use week. So we really need a lot of support during February and March. But one thing that helps towards the end of the year, kind of get us through the summer as well, are move out drives. So I would encourage anyone on campus, whether y'all are living on campus or not, but all of the housing, Liberty, U Pines does that as well, O Hall. When they're moving out, they can just donate their food into collection bins instead of throwing it away. Because a lot of them would throw it away, to move out, but they can donate it and then we get that food at the pantry. So that really sustained us a lot through the summer.
Chief of Staff Burns, my one of my questions is that for Pack the Pantry, are the Greek organizations involved a lot? I just remember like when we were talking to other institutions, they were talking very heavily about like competitions between the Greeks and like your idea earlier when you were talking about like the formals and things. I just was curious how high their involvement is in Pack the Pantry.
That's a great question. Last year they were involved. Actually, SAE was really involved with the pantry last year and helped stock a bunch of the donations and picked up from a few locations for me. So that was awesome. Um, I would like to increase involvement. So I did talk to Rob earlier today and for their Greek week. So they are, of course, welcome to participate in Pack the Pantry, and many of them will. But in the spring, also they do Greek week specifically for Greek students. And they're going to do Greek specific food drives, where they can kind of like earn a point, because some sororities and fraternities do like a point system like within their org. And so they're going to tie that to some pantry food donations as well. But yes, I'd be open to y'all's feedback on how to kind of increase the Greek involvement, but they were involved last year. That's all I have to base it off of is last year. Um, but several of them did collect food items and drop them off and engage with the pantry. So I was really excited about that since they're seen as, leaders on our campus and everything.
President Okafor, I think this is a really great initiative, especially in the holiday season and with a lot of our international students not having enough time to go home, but with our facilities closing down during the break, them
Yeah.
having the opportunity to be able to grab items from the pantry would be really beneficial, especially after talking with Dr. Ferguson and the athletes on their situation with international students as well.
Yeah, that's a really big. We keep, specifics confidential, but that is a population that we see a lot of, or students who don't have the access to go home for a break. So in response to that last year, and I would like to kind of scale it more this year, if y'all would be willing to help, that'd be awesome. But distributing like pre-break bags. So we did a UC like grab and go where they could just come grab like some non-perishable items before the break. To kind of help alleviate some of that so they could take it back to their dorm and just have a quick like grab and go option. But it is an issue I see on our campus with international athletes specifically. And so I want to make sure, we're taking care of all of our students and giving them access to what they need.
Okay, Senator, is it on? Okay, Senator Ramirez, I was just wondering, is there any way that there could be like a mass email sent out to students on campus? Because I know that a lot of students don't realize that we do have the Patriot Pantry on campus. And so
Okay.
if there's any way to send out a mass email about it, I think that would really help get the word out.
Yeah, so I sent it out through Patriots Engage, and it will be in the campus news on Friday. So that is the best way I know how to reach y'all. If there's a different type of like mass email way to reach out, I'm open to that, or I can talk to Josh about it. But it will be in the campus news as well, and I'm gonna put it on the TVs as well. So you mean about? Sorry, let me clarify. About Pack the Pantry, or about like the pantry as a resource, or both?
So, mostly referring to Pack the Pantry, but also
Okay.
just in general, I know a lot of students who don't realize that the pantry is a resource on campus.
Okay. Yeah. And if that is something that y'all are seeing, I can increase like tabling events. So I know the UC is really popular. So even just kind of tabling for the pantry, letting them know it's there. That's great. Also, Swoop and Go, just so y'all know, Swoop and Go is doing buy one, donate one Mondays. So there are certain little signs in Swoop and Go. And so if you buy one of those items, they immediately donate one to the pantry. So that's really awesome. And so I could tie that in with some tabling to kind of raise awareness if y'all are seeing that concern.
Yeah, definitely. Does anyone else have any more questions? Okay, well, thank you so much, Maddie, for coming before us, and we really appreciated your time.
Absolutely. Thank you
And
for having me.
SG will definitely be donating, so.
Okay. I mean, y'all kind of already get midnight breakfast skip the line passes, but y'all are obviously welcome to participate and choose from the other options of prizes. So thank you for having me.
Of course. Okay, moving on to committee reports, we have events first.
Events did not meet this past week. I hope everyone had a good Halloween. I will have a clinical tomorrow, so if anyone is able to meet Thursday at 5:30 p.m., that would be wonderful. We can do it on Zoom or in the what else was that? Student Success conference room. Nope, I lied. Not Student Success conference room. We'll meet in the SGA office or on Zoom.
Treasurer Barnes, let me pull it up. Sorry. Okay, yeah, we met on the 30th. SGAC met on the 30th, and we only met with National Student Nursing Association. They requested $273.84 in Cheddar's food items for their Friendsgiving and Future Focus event set to be held on November 19th, 2025, and they were denied under the violation of Article 2, Section 7 of the SGAC guidelines, which state all activities, events, and projects funded in part or full by the SGAC must follow university guidelines, policies, and procedures, as well as federal, state, and local laws.
Chief of Staff Burns, Rules Committee did not meet last week. We are going to be meeting this week at the normal time, Thursday at 6:30. I know the amendment is waiting on to be approved, but I still encourage people to show up to rules as there's still like many other changes we can go through. We can essentially start going through the Constitution and really looking at updating some old policies and procedures. So I do still encourage people to show up, even though the amendment's already passed.
Senator Shillard, ESC did not meet last week and we will not meet this week. We're still going off of Bonnie's idea of coming up with a new way to be environmentally friendly around campus. So that will probably be a big pitch at the end of the semester, and then it will become into effect in the beginning of next semester.
Okay, moving on to student voice reports. Does anyone have anything to report for Victory Village? Okay, seeing none, moving on to University Pines. Does anyone have anything to report via View Pines? Okay, does anyone have anything to report for Houston campus? Okay, moving on to officer reports. So last week, Wednesday, I was at the Corporate Advisory Council meeting with the Souls College of Business, along with the College of Business senators. And we met with the top donors and business executives in Tyler. And they asked us about what they can do to best facilitate students on campus and how they can best support us, as well as things they want to see on the student side in their businesses as well. Then today I had a meeting with Stephanie Fenter, who's our chief of operations, and I spoke to her about the pickleball courts that we are planning to add onto campus, and she gave me an update on that. So currently we're going through an advent firm, which is basically a business that will come onto campus and look at 5 different locations and see how best to incorporate new changes onto campus. So the pickleball courts, the deck, the HPR building, even like the new signage, they'll kind of give input on how to make it more intentional in what we're doing. Sorry, couple more things. We did speak about the cats on campus, but I'll talk about that more in new business. And then that's it. Yeah.
Vice President Page. This past week, I've kind of tried to reach out to some of the senators who may have had a couple absences and just trying to connect and see, like, hey, is everything all right? There's something going on? Things like that. Outside of that, I will be sending out a poll, like right at the end of the meeting, basically asking who can be here for Patriot Premiere Day. And, do you want a table? Do you want to do the kind of wayfinding, guide people around thing? And, if you can check both, and if you want to do both, you'll kind of float people at the table. Um, Outside of that, it has been uneventful.
Senator Barnes, I haven't had too much going on last week, fortunately, because I do have exams coming up. But like I said, I did host my SGAC meeting, and then other than that, I have been kind of revising the budget and just making sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. I did have my weekly meeting or bi-weekly meeting with Josh, and so that was very productive, and we have a lot of things situated in that regard. But other than that, it's been very relaxed for me.
Chief of Staff Burns, after the approval of the amendment last week, I took some time and went through and reformatted the Constitution and added the amendment in and, went through all the correct procedures for that and then sent it over to Josh and he then forwarded it to Dr. Ferguson. And I'm just simply waiting for his official approval to get it posted onto the website so it can take effect. So that was kind of the main thing that I did last week. And then This week I've been kind of reading through the Constitution and thinking about bits to talk about in my rules meeting this week just to see like what's next.
Hey, moving on to old business. Does anyone have anything to add to old business? Okay, seeing none, I entertain a motion to speak about the Walk to End Alzheimer's team. Hey, so the Walk to End Alzheimer's walk is December 6th, and I was wondering if anyone would be interested in walking. I know this year SU is kind of focused more on volunteering and seeing how best we can help the community. So the walk basically entails like you don't have to donate money to participate in the walk. It's just really to spread news, and then also um, the walk is centered about research regarding Alzheimer's, and so all the funds and proceeds will go into research on um, basically Alzheimer's and studies about it. And I know our nursing department here on campus, College of Nursing, um, kind of facilitates that as well. But it's at 8 a.m. and it ends about around 11 a.m. as well. So I was wondering what y'all's thoughts were.
Vice President Page, would y'all be more inclined to volunteer? We can kind of help do set up, tear down, or would y'all like to do a walk kind of as a group and, do our that there are mics floating around? Should anybody like one?
Senator Taylor, I think that what we probably would, what I would suggest is just throw up a poll on our group meeting. I think that would be best well, because if we just have like 10 people say that they can be there, I know people have to look at their schedules if they have work. December 6th is a month and a couple days out. Some people's work schedules aren't come out. So if we set up a poll for that on our group meeting, then I think if we have 10 people sign up, then we can go walk with SGA shirts on. Or if we only have like 2 or 3 people, we can set up a booth or help set up for the event and everything. Um, yeah.
We'll drop a poll in the group me. Would y'all like to wait for the results of the poll right now, or is this something that y'all just want to based off of the amount of people?
Senator Yezik, I know that there are several of us in other organizations that are actually planning to work or volunteer for the event itself, but if others are interested in order to join for walking, that would be great as well. But I like the idea of actually putting it into the group me for station.
Senator Ramirez, do you think it would be possible for us to set something up to do like a table kind of like halfway through, like the halfway mark for the walkers with like water and stuff like that? Because that would be something that I would actually enjoy doing a lot if that's something that's possible for us to do.
Yeah, so they're doing tables for um, just in general as well, not open to like all student orgs, but I can definitely float that idea to them as well and have us,
Thank
pass
you.
out water or something. So do we want to go a more traditional route of walking, or do we want to more so focus on tabling?
Both. I believe the consensus is that, if possible, we could do both. If that's like we table kind of before the walk, we kind of, give out whether that's our pamphlets or any educational material, we can kind of collaborate with the School of Nursing, I'd presume. And then have our group walk as well, whether that's in SGA shirts, midnight breakfast shirts, or something like that.
Okay, I entertain a motion to close the discussion on Walk to End Alzheimer's team. Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Any opposed? Okay, and any abstentions? Okay, I entertain a motion to discuss cats on campus. Okay. I don't know if you guys have seen recently, but there's been a lot of student concerns regarding the cats on campus, and I wanted to hear y'all's input on what was going on and how you guys feel about the situation.
Okay, Senator Ramirez, I know that there is, which a lot of the freshmen are probably in it, there's a large Instagram group chat with a lot of the freshman class this year, and there have been several concerns. I know that the Patriot Talent is doing an article over it. Our main concern is the fact that the animal shelter that the cats are being taken to once they are captured by animal control is a kill shelter, and they don't have like a time period. It's a kill at their discretion. If they think an animal isn't gonna get adopted, if they think for whatever reason it's not adoptable, they'll euthanize it, and it doesn't have to be like a specific time period before they do. And so it's causing a lot of concerns for, I mean, the freshman classes, because I am in the freshman class, so I talk to them the most. I know that several of the students are also trying to go and adopt the cats once they get taken to the animal shelter, which will eventually cause issues with housing because you have to meet with SARS. It's meetings for that are about a month out right now to schedule a meeting with them to get an animal registered on campus. And so, and even then, you have to get it registered as an emotional support animal. So it's just bringing a whole lot of issues that not everybody is thinking about. Yeah, so that's just kind of what I've seen and my take on it.
Vice President Page, do you know what shelter they are currently being taken to?
Okay. I do not know what shelter it is, but I'm sure that I can find out later this afternoon and let you know about it because, like I said, one of the writers for the Talent is doing an article on it that they're finishing up and editing today. They've interviewed some of the freshman class to kind of get their viewpoints on it, and so that'll be out this week, hopefully. I can message them, and I'm sure by the end of the meeting I'll have a response about it. Like I said, there also are several students trying to adopt the cats that have been taken there from campus.
Cool.
I already got it. Two. Okay, anyways. Senator Arantes here. You mentioned the Patriots talent. Do they have any um like any interviews with the people from the pound or like from the shelter? Do you know?
Sorry, Senator Ramirez, I'm not entirely sure. I didn't personally get interviewed for it. I didn't have time by the time they wanted it done. But that article again should be out this week. I can message the girl that wrote it because I do follow her on Instagram, so I can figure that out as well and try to get more statements and more information about it.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of context regarding the situation. So, currently there's a hole outside, like right outside the UC, and the cats are in the hole currently and kind of digging in and getting into the building as well. So the plan is to take the cats out of that hole so that they can seal it up without sealing the cats in. And then facilities will be rehoming these cats. Couple of them even volunteered to adopt them as well. But this is something that's gone on in the past as well with the rehoming of cats on our campus. Although in the past couple of years, I'm not sure if it's been upheld. And that's why there's a boom in population of cats on our campus.
Vice President Page, a little bit more context. This came to our attention from a student's email. Our SGA email, along with the President's Office, Student Affairs, and Dr. Philly were all attached. And the student just kind of outlined like the general concerns of the cat's welfare, along with, kind of some of the comfort that the animals on campus do bring. So, they would like to not see harm come to them. They did kind of ask about where was it? Um, they mentioned that some universities have implemented a trap, neuter, return (TNR) program, which allows cats to remain on campus in a humane, controlled way. And they made the suggestion that UT Tyler could adopt a similar approach, partnering with local animal welfare organizations and student volunteers to ensure both the cats and the campus are well cared for. In fact, they believe that the campus cats are popular enough, many students would be willing to donate money to neuter and spay. Additionally, the cats are well fed by students and by many bugs and other pests. So there definitely is like generalized student concern. This is not I guess, isolated topic. Um, and that was when we got the response from Dr. Philly about the hole in the UC and how we would rather not seal a cat inside of that wall whenever we try and fix it. But if there was, I suppose, like the opportunity to, implement a program such as that on campus, do you think that that is something that students would like to see? Having a, what was it called? Trap, neuter, return. Um, I imagine, some of the issues that would still be faced, unfortunately, is that, animals on campus that aren't necessarily like they're not squirrels on campus. They're not just hanging around. They are trying to come into the buildings, trying to get into places that they're not supposed to be. Um, I think there's a larger discussion to
Yeah.
be had.
Um, with my meeting today with Stephanie, we did talk about the feasibility of that, and it would not be feasible on our campus, just because you could go into a liability standpoint, but also I think a lot of the people raising concerns haven't been here during the winter and seen like what the cats are going through. I mean, as an RA doing rounds at Victory, like at 12 a.m., a lot of these cats are shivering in the corner. They don't have good food sources during the winter, and their health ultimately comes into question as well.
Okay, Senator Ramirez again. Another concern that I really have right now is in this group chat earlier today, they were saying that they have seen traps around campus to try to catch the cats with food in them, and that they are going into the traps, letting the cats out, taking the food out of the traps, and then deactivating the traps so that it cannot catch any of the cats, which could get them in a lot of trouble because that is technically tampering with stuff. So I'm not really sure how to handle that, but that might be something to discuss with campus security. Yeah, because that was a message that was sent earlier, and then someone was trying to tell them, hey, maybe don't do that because you can get in trouble for that. And I know you don't want the cats to get hurt, but like, don't go to jail for a cat. And they were like, well, that's too bad. I'll go to jail for the cat. So that might be a conversation to have with campus security at some point soon.
Vice President Page. Maybe realign some priorities if you're going to jail for a cat. To any students in the room or watching the recording, do not tamper with university property just in general. The cats are, I mean, the winter's cold here. It's not great. There is a discussion to be had possibly about what shelter they're going to. Once we find that out, we could possibly look at options of like, hey, maybe if y'all could send them this way instead, or find another option. But at this time, it is an issue on campus, and unfortunately, issues need to be addressed. We need to patch that hole in the wall. Uh, Please do not mess with the cat traps.
Senator Houston, I think I concur with the opinion that we need to treat them humanely and ensure that they're going to a humane environment, but at the same rate, there is also to some degree a safety concern because at some point the cats become feral and the cats start going after the humans, even if they're feeding them. So that is one of my concerns. I'm a cat lover myself. I have three at my apartment off campus, but that doesn't mean that we can completely ignore the fact that cats can be feral, especially if they have never come in contact with humans, even if they're fed by them.
I'm gonna second that statement. I thought I was walking up on a kitten, and then it sounded like there was a dragon in the bushes. And yeah, I just heard a loud breathing sound and then rustling and got out of there. um, but yeah, I mean, just as long as I think it's being approached humanely, I think removal of the cats from campus is probably the better option. Whether that's for population control, whether that's for the integrity of our buildings, or anything else.
Senator Vergara here. I say let's save the cats, but I would propose that what if we send them to a safe shelter and then we can tell UT Tyler students that they're at this location. If they would like to adopt, then they can go there and have that option.
Senator Goldthorpe. I'm all for the cats. To be honest, I have 5 cats at home. So, and I have fed these cats because they're cute and cuddly, and they're nice to me. So, but what's what are we gonna do to prevent cats from coming back? Because we have to take in the fact that we do kind of live in like a residential, or well, we don't live, but we go to school in a residential neighborhood where the uptick of people just dumping animals is very high. So, I mean, we can get rid of the cats all day long, but cats are going to come back again anyway. So,
Vice President Page. My understanding is it would just be the same process of trying to, return them to a safe environment, whether that's, you run into a cat on campus and it's got a little collar, if you have the opportunity to, get in contact with the owners, please do. Or, alert facilities, hey, there's a cat or, a family of them living in your wall. Um, and, ideally they move them into a new safe facility, whether that's, a shelter or yeah, a shelter. Yeah.
Chief of Staff. Chief of Staff Burns. So it sounds like what the deal is that the university is not going to allow the cats to stay on campus. So I think as student government, our initiative should be to ask, where the cats go. So I mean, I think just transparency in that regard to see where either what shelter they go to, notice about like where they are rehomed to, so that we could inform students that the cats have been humanely, rehomed to a safe place and that they are taken care of. I think that's really what our role in this situation is.
Yeah, President Okafor, I can definitely reach out to Thomas Pinkerton, who's the director of facilities, and kind of ask a breakdown of what's going on. And maybe as an SGA, we can send a broad email to the student body, kind of informing them of what's going on.
Senator Buffle, I was wondering, on that note, would we have the survey committee up soon enough to put out a survey on that, or?
Okafor, it's up to the discretion of the committee. I mean, you guys have the reins now in terms of that.
Senator Houston, I can tell you that I already have a 9-section, 53-question survey about scooters ready to be approved by the executive board. and built into Qualtrics. So I think the question would be for me, yes, we can do that. I just don't know what the timetable on actually getting numbers would look like because we'd put them out so close together that it would take a long time to get the numbers and the data actually put into a polished report to make that happen. I'm not saying we can't do that. I'm just saying it may be next semester before I can actually get you the numbers on it.
Chief Steph Burns. I don't know if it would really be extremely useful to survey people because we can't really ask them like, oh, should we have cats on campus or not? Because the university's already ruled on what their decision on that is, and I don't see them changing their mind in that aspect. So it seems like based on my understanding, the university's already ruled, hey, they can't stay. But I think what we can do as students is advocate for where they go off campus and transparency and knowledge in that regard. So I don't think we can really change like, hey, we're going to have cats on campus now because the student said so. I personally don't think that's extremely feasible. I think what's more feasible is just getting information and transparency.
Senator Ramirez, I did find out they are being taken to just the Tyler Animal Shelter, is just what it's called. So they're currently being taken there. And I was just gonna say, I know that it's probably not feasible to get them to approve having cats on campus, but do you think it could be worth discussing with them to see if we could come up with some sort of student program where it was like, if we get the students together and we build like little like heated cat houses or something to put around campus, if we could have those and then do like the student, like since it's the students that want them and not the campus that wants them, could we do some sort of like monthly student drive to get supplies for them or something like that? I don't know. It's just, I know that it's probably not very feasible. However, this is an issue that people are going to keep bringing up because cats are going to keep showing up on campus. So until we find a solution that will stick, it's just going to keep coming up in conversation.
Vice President Page. So while I would love cat houses as a senator project, I don't think that would be feasible because it still presents like the same issues of cats being on campus of like, that's wonderful that they have a place to, live, I suppose, but at the same time, they might still be messing with things that we don't really want them messing with necessarily. I think it would be feasible though to potentially like have the university kind of put out something, whether that's like a, hey, here are the cats of the week who have been rehomed to this shelter if you're interested. Or even just, even if it's just a more general, like, hey, any animals that are removed from campus are going to be removed to this shelter. Just to kind of, if y'all have that favorite cat on campus and y'all haven't seen it in a while, y'all know that it's probably over here. Go check out over there.
Treasurer Barnes, additionally, I would like to point out that y'all have Senator Project funds. And so if this is something that you think you could use your voice to help in some way or possibly get something going pertaining to this subject, if this is what's, speaking to your heart, y'all did vote on a budget for $500 regarding Senator projects. And then constituencies, y'all get $75 per constituency as well. And so y'all have a voice and y'all have finances to help fund your opinions.
Senator Arantes here. I was just saying, like, why don't we tell them to make donations to wherever the cats are going? Instead of like building shelters here, we just give them donations to the shelter where they're staying at and tell students that. But even then, like, they need like food and stuff in there. Mm.
Hold on, I have one more thing to say. Okay, Senator Ramirez, last thing I have to say about this is would it be possible for the SARS to kind of partner with housing and with the animal shelter? Because right now the issue is even if someone on campus adopts the cats that are taken, goes through the process, gets them adopted and taken care of, they still like they'll get fined for having them on campus in their housing until they meet with SARS, which is $100 per day that you have it without it being approved. And so you can get them registered as ESAs on campus with housing and everything, but SARS meetings are about a month out right now. So would there be any way to try to partner? And so whenever a cat that was a UT Tyler cat gets taken to a shelter, is there any way that they could try to bump that up so that if someone on campus does try to adopt it, they can get it approved a little bit quicker?
Okay, President Okafor, hold that thought. I entertain a motion to extend this discussion. We need more time to talk about this.
It was carried and seconded. It goes to a vote.
Yeah. Okay, so all those in favor, please raise your hand. Can you raise them up higher, please? Okay. All those opposed? Okay. It doesn't get extended, so the discussion is closed. Okay, moving on to advisor comments. Actually, I entertain a motion to close new business. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. All those opposed? Okay, thank you. And any abstentions? Okay, moving on to advisor comments.
So, mic check. Okay, so interesting meeting. So I'll go in order to kind of cover what Miss Bailey covered. It is really exciting. If you haven't been over to the Patriot Pantry, it's amazing to see how that space has evolved over the years. And so you don't have to be food insecure to use that space. It is accessible to all students. And so I'm always fascinated by the number of items that go out and the type of items. And so we've got plenty of ramen noodles, but that's not the most popular item that leaves the pantry. So it's very fascinating. And so I'm very proud of the work that we have. And I'm grateful that we have the support of the campus community and Tyler community that's looking out for our students. I am going to comment on the voice reports. I'm hopeful that in the future meetings that you come prepared to talk about your areas. I really want to know what's happening as it relates to the areas that you represent. It's important that we are addressing any concerns, but also talking about the good things that are going on campus. You don't always have to come with the problem. It's okay to talk about some of the good. It's important to recognize the good work that's also happening so that way we can ensure that that work can continue to happening. Lots of good debate. I'm happy to see the debate, even the cats on campus. I don't know if I've ever seen a topic in my time here, but I think it's good that y'all are talking and debating about issues. And so it's good to have different opinions. It's you don't want groupthink. It's debate options, talk about potential solutions, and then talk about, okay, what can we, how can we address this, and how do we get the data to support the direction we're going in. And so it doesn't always need to be opinion based. It's important to also figure out, and there might be reasons why the institution's already made a decision on that. And so there's a good reason. I am always going to lean on safety first. And so it is a concern. And so, but we hear student concerns as well, and are always open to that feedback to see how we can, make it all work across the board. So overall, good meeting. And so keep up the good work. Looking forward to next week's meetings and making sure that y'all come prepared to talk as it relates to your area. So that's all I've got.
Okay, for announcements, we have the walk to End Alzheimer's December 6th, and then finals bags. And then also the East Texas Big Event will be next semester, February 28th, and it's one of the required events we have next semester. So our next meeting will also be November 11th. And I Does anyone have any other announcements?
Treasurer Barnes, I did go ahead and send out the poll through the GroupMe for your interest pertaining to volunteering for the Walk to End Alzheimer. So if you haven't seen that already, definitely just go ahead and submit your vote. It does expire in 24 hours.
Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay.